to another episode of Pit Lane Parlay.
We're joined now by Graham Rahal before qualifying. How's the weekend, including testing, been so far at Laguna?
Yeah, I feel like we were good on the test day. We struggled a little bit yesterday, Friday, for whatever reason. Because it was pretty warm on Friday, and Thursday really was quite cool. So I think it just really kind of tipped us over for some reason, but. I think we're doing okay. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, I think, in the off season still to close the gap a little bit. But we found some good things at the test, and I think towards the tail end of this season that will help us as we go forward. So we'll see.
All right, how does it actually feel to go through the corkscrew?
It's you can't see anything, so it's like everybody, thinks it's like some thrill ride, and it is cool, but, it'd probably be more fun in like a GT car or something. You sit a little higher. In the Indycar, you're so low to the ground, you're just, you basically aim at, there's like 3 trees, you aim at the middle tree, and if you're on target, you're good. If you're not, then you're not good, and it's just like kind of a weird thing. They've also added in some curbing this year, these big yellow blocky curbs, which frankly I'm not a big fan of. But that is the way it is, and we didn't have that at the test, and I thought it was fine the way it was at the test. But it's a tricky thing. There's no doubt.
Coming back here is a season finale. Your dad had a lot of success here, and just talk for a minute about how great it is to have this venue as where you end the season.
It's a great spot. I was never the biggest Sonoma fan myself. I always did well there for some reason, but I can't say that I ever loved it. And the best part of Sonoma is no doubt the wine. So, for me, and in a race weekend, I don't get to enjoy that anyway. So what good does it do me? My wife loved it, but for me, it was not the best. But, coming here, I think it's just a great area of the world. All of our partners, a lot of our sponsors want to be here. Even more so, I think, than what we had at Sonoma. And, I do hope that the fans rally around it. We get a good crowd. The camping looks great. From what I've seen so far, I was up wandering around yesterday, and it did. It looked great, but, we'll see. It's I'm happy to be back here. There's no doubt.
So 2019 as a whole, and I know you mentioned this on a conference call before Pocono a couple weeks ago, qualifying's been better. I think your average race finish position has been better for at least the last time I looked. What's been the secret to, especially on the qualifying end, that's made you start farther up the grid this year than kind of struggling the last couple of years?
I still think we need to be a little better. Not a little bit. We need to be a lot better in qualifying. We still put ourselves in some hard holes to dig out of. But in general, for a lot of the year, we were definitely closer to where we needed to be. I've struggled, with this car, with this aero kit and everything else. I've struggled with confidence. Others seem to have adapted better than I have. It's been a little bit of a tough road for me the last couple of years. This year I thought we were more in tune with it. We just haven't had the luck, and I know that everybody says that luck is, BS, but it's not. You look at our year, starting out at St. Pete, we were running 5th or 6th, got a flat tire. You finish poorly because of that, and it was at the tail end of the race, which is even harder to recover. We go to second race is Coda this year? I can't remember. Coda finished well. Then we go to Barber, Long Beach, finished well. Barber, started on the front row. Lap 4 or 5, the stuck throttle thing started to happen, and then the battery explodes, and we get a DNF. Stuff like that is it's been continuous for us this year. Indy hurt, just to not get a good result because double points there. It's a big thing. So, we've been better, but we need to kind of tighten up the loose ends. Mistakes like Portland are inexcusable. We've got to tighten up a lot of the loose ends, I think, as a team and be a little better in every area as we go forward.
When you have a race like Barber where, you start 1-2 with your teammate Takuma, and you guys have a great race, and then your battery explodes. Is it tough to mentally get past that and get ready for the next race?
I was pretty ticked off. I mean, I'm not going to lie, and I went into that day, nothing against them, but I went into that day and I was very confident I was going to win that race because I thought that we were better on race pace. I thought that our car was more consistent. That was proving to be true early part of the race, but Takuma and I left everybody until the stuck throttle issue really started to show its head. I mean, we had a multi-second lead over Dixon, and we were in cruise control. So disappointing, It is hard to just forget about that. And we had, the penalty at Long Beach, which I still think is absolute BS. But, a couple bad breaks right in that area. So that's a hard thing to overcome. I mean, we were kind of in a hole there from the start of the season that we needed to get through, and it certainly wasn't easy. I don't know that we have yet.
So going into this weekend, how is your confidence? Is it coming back now?
Well, I mean, confidence-wise, I don't think, I'm confident in our team. I'm confident in myself. I've said this time and time again, and I think it's true that, when we've been competitive and we've had good cars, we've won. I mean, in 2 years, we won 5 races or whatever. I mean, it's not like we can't, compete here, and we have to always keep reminding ourselves of that, and we know we can do well. It's a very competitive sport. I mean, even look at, here in Laguna, yesterday we were like 20th or something on the timesheets, and we were 8 tenths off the fastest time. I mean, that's nothing. I was watching Formula One qualifying this morning, and the guy who qualified 4th, I think, was a second off. It's just a different ball game. It is, and it's frustrating, but I mean that's just the way that it kind of goes.
One thing that seems to be a big issue this weekend is with the tires and the degradation, everything like that. I mean, what do you like it when the tires go away that fast and it's more put in the driver's hands?
I do, but at the same time, I think to be very frank, I think the tires could be a little better here. I feel like they could have been in a few places this year. So tire deg is one thing, and it's fine. But a track like this should really, really, for me, highlight the speed and the skill of an Indycar. And with what we have, I'm not sure that it is as much as it should. So, we'll see. Obviously, we're about to qualify here. We've got good reds. We've got guys running on low fuel. We're going to go see what all we can get out of it. The reds are better. I anticipate, a high 69 somewhere in there is going to be pole time, which is decent. But, you go back to when I drove the Champ car here in 2007. We tested here. We did not race here. But I believe at that test, we were doing like 65-second laps. Now, those cars did have a lot of horsepower. Those cars really had a lot of downforce, and those cars did have really good tires. I mean, we're talking 12 years old, and they were Bridgestones, but same company. Those things were beasts around here, which was awesome. And it'd be fun to get back there. But, I've never, the emphasis on cornering speed and braking late and everything else, I've been giving PT crap all weekend about how I watched his onboard of him in like 2001 or 2002 here, and I've been picking on him for how early he was braking. But the truth of the matter is that these cars, they corner impressively fast. We just need a little more juice, which I know is coming in, 2021 or whenever. So that would be pretty cool.
So you tested here in 2006, 2007, whenever it was. And I know the car was different, but has the track changed significantly in the past 12 years to where you had to kind of adjust what you thought going into this weekend?
Not much. It's slippery. I would say that's the biggest thing. It's, it just pavement as it ages, it gets slippery, and that's about it. Other than that, the track's pretty similar. It's a great place. It doesn't need to change, The evolution of time and the evolution of safety and everything else, yeah, I expect things to change a little bit as we go forward. Curbing changes, runoff areas change, these sorts of things. But in general, not much has changed. I think that's good.
All right, going into the off season, do you have any big plans, anything fun going on?
I hope not this year. I mean, obviously I'm going to do Petit Le Mans in the Penske Acura, but aside from that, to be very frank, typically we have a trip planned or something, a vacation, but we really don't this year, and I'm kind of hoping it stays that way. I know it sounds ridiculous, but as I've gotten a little bit older, just like the appreciation for being at home has gone up so much, and we just travel so much that I just, frankly, I'm excited to go home.
Yeah, I'm excited to be home too, and my wife is already planning multiple visits of hanging out with friends that we haven't seen all year because I haven't been home. So I think I'm losing that battle though.
Kind of following up on my previous question, what do you think of the new engine stuff for 2021 or 22?
I think it's really good. I like to see this sport going in that direction. There's not many motorsports that are. So to me, I think it's a great thing. I think we just need to keep going down that path and keep chasing it. I think we need to get another OE in here, and that would completely change the face of the sport. But I really like the direction they've gone.
Well, we'll wrap it up with that because they're about to test the engine here. So thanks very much, and good luck this weekend, man.
Thank
you. Joined before qualifying by Spencer Pigot, driver of the number 21 Auto Geek car. The second half of your 2019 season has been significantly better, at least from a results standpoint at the end of the race. Does that, one, give you confidence going into 2020? And two, is there anything that you guys have changed as a team that you can attribute that to?
No, I don't think there's anything really in particular that we've changed. It just kind of seems like the races have gone a little smoother. I think the beginning of the year we had pretty solid pace at quite a few races, and just either qualifying was interrupted by red flags or something happened in the race. Just things didn't really go as smoothly as we wanted to, and it seemed like the second half it just kind of had less outside influences on our races.
And confidence going into 2020 is much higher because you've had a good second half of the year?
I guess so. We'd like to build on what we've done this year, and hopefully be back with Ed Carpenter Racing and see what we can do in 2020.
Going into qualifying, how are you feeling today?
Not that great, honestly. It's been a tough weekend. We've kind of been up and down on the timesheets. Some sessions in the top 10, some sessions, pretty deep in the field. So, on Reds yesterday, it all was really tight, and we weren't too far off. So, it gives us a little bit of hope going in. But we had a tough practice 3, but we'll make a few changes, and it wouldn't be the first time this year that we've kind of turned it around just in the nick of time.
You've run here in a lights car before. What do you think of this circuit, and how different is it between a lights car and an Indycar going around here?
Yeah, it's a really neat place. Obviously it's one of the classic American road courses, very well known, and definitely lives up to all the expectations. It's really fast, it's flowing, it's got some really unique corners which are fun, and in an IndyCar it's just more difficult, I think. The horsepower with the low grip surface is harder to handle. We're definitely having to manage tires a lot more than you do in lights. In Indy Lights, I don't really remember much degradation or anything, whereas in IndyCar, that's something that you definitely have to focus on.
What's it like at least 5 or 6 times a year to race alongside your boss?
Yeah, it's great. Ed's obviously been around a few years and has got a lot of experience, and definitely a good guy to be able to bounce questions off of and ask things to. And he's obviously still really competitive and really quick, so I think we've worked well together this year, and it's always nice to race against him. I always obviously trust him and know he's going to race hard but clean, and I don't think we've had too many side-by-side battles, but when we have, it's been good.
Have you been able to learn, especially at Indy where he's always doing well, any secret tips and tricks that he has that allowed you to qualify third and have a pretty clean race this year?
Yeah, for sure. Just kind of knowing what he likes from the car, and what over the years what he's found is the best way to get through different situations, whether it's qualifying or the race, has definitely been beneficial.
Going into the off season, do you have any fun plans?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Europe in a week or two, a couple different places with my girlfriend, and other than that, just kind of hang out and train and get ready for 2020.
I think, look, a lot of people, I mean, the season goes by so fast, and the off season goes by so slow, but are you kind of looking forward to it slowing down for a little bit, just to kind of gather yourself up and get ready for 2020?
Yeah, I think, the first few weeks are always nice to kind of not be traveling all over the place to a different track or some kind of appearance or whatever it is, but after that you're kind of ready to get back going again. It is a long downtime, and I think that the testing isn't going to start until next year. I don't think 2020 with all the updates to the chassis, so it might be a long time just kind of hanging out.
So somebody came up to me yesterday and said that Ed Carpenter should be the next mayor of Indianapolis. If Ed Carpenter is running for mayor, are you voting?
Yeah, why not? I think the same person said that to me in the autograph session.
Okay.
Some random guy.
We heard it. It was a random guy when we were on stage during the autograph session. It's probably the same guy.
Probably.
You told me governor.
Governor? Yeah, I was close. It was about the same.
Let me see here. We like to ask fun questions sometimes. So what would your spirit animal be and why?
I don't know. I like sharks. I feel like they're like calm until they need to be aggressive.
I like it.
So, where does this track rank on, your favorite, at least road courses on the schedule now that you've been here? Is it kind of neck and neck between here and maybe Road America or someplace like that?
I definitely like it. I think, there's some other tracks I probably enjoy maybe a little more. I really like Barber. I really like Road America. But definitely this is up there. It's so low grip. Some of the corners they look so fast, and I know what the car is capable of around some of these corners. It might be a little more fun if there wasn't dust flying around all the time and it wasn't so slippery, but it is hard to beat this place. It's super unique, and it is a lot of fun.
Looking back on 2019 as a whole, if there's one moment you could have a magic redo on, if that were to exist, what would that be?
I don't know. I mean, I guess the 500 didn't go as we planned. It qualified well, and there's not really one moment in the race that things went south. It just kind of, throughout the race we seemed to just be a little bit less competitive. So, always like to have another go at that one.
I think that's a pretty fair answer.
Obviously, we haven't seen any testing or anything yet with the aero screen, but how do you think that's going to affect the handling of the car for next year?
I think it might change it quite a bit. I think the center of gravity is going to be a lot higher. It's going to be heavier. So what exactly it'll do to the car, I'm not sure yet. I know the engineers have their thoughts about it. Might add more understeer to the cars. So, until everyone gets their hands on one and can really feel it out, it's kind of a question mark. But, it's definitely going to change it, I think.
So you have the aero screen that's probably coming next year, and then some new engine regulations over the next couple of years after that. Do you feel like the series is going in the right direction by making all those changes?
Yeah, I think so. I think even in the past 4 or 5 years, they've made a lot of progress. And, when Jay and all those guys laid out their plan, it seems like they've been able to kind of stick to it and make progress where they had promised. So it's nice to see that evolution, and, with the safety side, with the performance side, and kind of all the areas. So, I think it's headed in the right direction. Hopefully we can, continue the growth and get some more support and attention from maybe some other manufacturers.
All right, we're going to wrap it up with one final question here. Again, Spencer, thanks for joining us, and best of luck this weekend. each year since you've been in IndyCar, your average finishing position has steadily gone up. A couple places each year. Are we due for a, in your mind, a Spencer Pigot win, if not this weekend in 2020?
Yeah, I think, for sure, if I'm able to come back again next year, I think we need to for sure win a race or two and, be on the podium a lot more often. This year will be difficult, or this race will be difficult, I think, but, you never know what will happen in an IndyCar race. So we'll do our best. We'll try and qualify as high up as possible and then see what we can do tomorrow.
Well, best of luck, man. Look forward to seeing you next year on the grid.
Thanks a lot.